was always the Jags.
It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome into Always the Jags, your number one podcast for all things Jacksonville, all things Jaguars, all things Duval. Now that is more like it. That's what I'm talking about. Jaguars just came off a 35-6 shellacking, dog-walking, absolute beatdown of the Los Angeles Chargers. None of us expected us to have a game like that in the season. But that is how you rebound from one of the worst losses we've ever had. That is how you change a culture. That is how you say these are not the same old Jags. That is how you reverse what Jags fans are used to. All those people in my comment section, I can post some right here, saying the Jaguars are going to get smoked. Chargers going to destroy them. Jaguars got no shot. Jaguars a poverty franchise. 35-6. 35-6. 35-6. Now, and you know, the excuses will come heavily, right? Oh, the Chargers were down their offensive tackles, right? You tell me the last time your team, whoever your team is, if you're a Jaguars fan listening to this or you're not, when was the last time your team dropped 29 points while your team was down its top 3 receivers, its top 2 tight ends, its top 3 players in the secondary, and 2 players along its offensive line? You tell me. You tell me, when did the Bengals last win a game without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins playing? When was the last time? I don't even know what team to put up. The Buccaneers have been playing great this year. So tell me the last time. Tell me the last time. The Jaguars proved something today. We are not the pushovers of before. We are not dwelling in the AFC cellar. And anybody that's making dumb excuses for this loss, Chargers tackles being out, Chargers had like 3 people injured. We had 10, 11 guys out. Like, coming into the season fully healthy, I did not expect us to win this game. With us being fully healthy. And obviously the Chargers, you could argue the Chargers' injuries are more impactful to them because their offensive line is horrible without those guys. But it's not my fault they didn't sign Cole Van Lanten, because Anton Harrison went out and Cole Van Lanten handled the Chargers' best edge rusher in Khalil Mack, and he had a great game. So don't come at me with their offensive tackles are out. So was ours. And he handled your best edge rusher. Khalil Mack had nothing on Trevor. And so this game, everything got back to form. And I think, like, this was the kind of game, especially rushing with 192 yards. If you had told me that Brenton Strange was back, I wouldn't have been surprised that we had 192 rushing. Because to me, Brenton Strange is, again, he's the T that makes this offense go. Our offense has, it's weird. It's weird, actually. Like, if we back up a second, like, Brenton Strange feels like the engine to our offense because of his blocking and catching prowess, right? So defenses can't cue into what we're doing, and he's Trevor Lawrence's best friend. He's also Travis Etienne's and Bayshaw Tutin's best friend. But also, like, since Brenton Strange has been out, we've been losing games. But also in our last 3 games, we've put up more than 30 points, or just about 30 points. 30, 29, and 25. And 35. Now, against the Chiefs, we had 31. But even in the games where Brenton Strange was playing, against the Panthers, 49ers, we only put up 26 because that's all that was needed. But those games still came down to the wire. It wasn't just like a complete walk-off, put your backup quarterback in at the 11-minute mark. So the question is like, and this is what I think I love about Liam Cohen. And I think is different about Doug Peterson because even in the seat, like when Liam came to Jacksonville, he figured out how important Brenton Strange would be. And even with Brenton Strange not in the lineup, he found a way to get the running game going again. And that was the thing that Doug Peterson couldn't do. He couldn't adjust when things weren't going his way. And Liam Cohen found a way to adjust and get back to that. And now Brenton Strange is going to come back for our game against the Cardinals, meaning our run game and passing game is only going to get better because he does make that big of a difference. He does, because again, in a running game, all it takes is one guy to beat their guy and the play is blown up. That's how running plays work. But Brenton Strange does not get beat. Guys don't get off blocks when he's blocking them. And he's got the speed and the power. So again, kind of hyping him up in a game that he didn't even play. Again, to be down our top receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., our other top receiver, Travis Hunter, is out. I think Diami Brown played. And then cornerback, Jordan Lewis still wasn't there. Neither was Travis Hunter. And Eric Murray's still not back in the secondary. And to me, what tells me when our defense really got back on track, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd is the engine for that defense. It used to be Foye Oluokun. And I really like Foye, but eventually we're going to have to choose. And I think if it comes down to it, like James Gladstone has to re-sign Devin Lloyd right now. We saw what it was like 2 games with him not playing against the Rams and against the Seahawks, right? And against the Rams, I'm pretty sure Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis were still in the game. 35-7, right? Now, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have gotten blown out without Devin Lloyd playing in that game, but clearly he has a bigger impact on the defense than we were anticipating. And I think he has a bigger impact on the defense than even Foye or Eric Murray or someone like that. So James Gladstone, like that's his next. He's got to get Devin Lloyd re-signed. Devin Lloyd didn't even have a big play in this game. It's just him being on the field and what he can do in coverage and everything we've been waiting for him to put together. Now, again, the fact that he's doing it in a contract year is kind of like maybe it just took longer to figure out. I don't know, but we got to re-sign him. That's no question there. And as we get closer to the end, re-signing guys and stuff like that, we're actually going to have a lot of impactful free agents leaving this year. With the main ones would be Travis Etienne, Trayvon Walker, and Devin Lloyd. Guys from the 21-22 draft class, all of our first round picks who are finally kind of coming into their own. And you look at this Chargers game, and I think this is Trayvon Walker also being removed from that club because the Jaguars haven't had a lot of sacks, but we've had a lot of pressures and forcing quarterbacks into bad decisions. And Trayvon Walker went out during that Chiefs game, and he wasn't really the same. And now he's back. And I feel like him being, again, it was the Chargers offensive line, so we can't put too much stock into it. I would love to see us play the Texans again against their offensive line and see what really was the difference. But I think Trayvon Walker, he's starting to get back to his form. And when he's on, it frees up Josh Allen. And because Josh Allen, he's a great edge rusher, but he's not a one-man band. Like Myles Garrett is a one-man band. You don't need anyone across from him, and he's still going to get his. TJ Watt is a one-man band. Max Crosby is a one-man band. Josh Allen is a thunder and lightning. You gotta have a compliment to him. And whether that's going to be Trayvon Walker for the future, we don't really, it's still kind of up in the air. We're not sure. I think we picked up his 5th-year option. But I can't remember because we drafted him in 22. So that would be an interesting question. If we picked up his 5th-year option, then I would maybe franchise tag Devin Lloyd. And every time when I was watching this game, Bashal Tutin, some crazy plays in that game. Even on the touchdown run, 2 Chargers there. Now, Bashal Tutin has a lot of momentum coming, so it's kind of natural that he would run them over and get the touchdown. But even still, he knocked 2 guys over on his way to the touchdown. 2 guys that should have really been able to stop him right there on the 1-yard line. He just ran them right over. He's starting to come back alive because he was starting to make some plays and then he kind of cooled off in those blow-offs when we had to get away from the run. But now, he's back in it and he's steady making plays again. And he brings that explosiveness and the hammer at the same time. But every time I think that maybe Travis Etienne is a little expendable now, Travis Etienne will have a 2-touchdown game like he did in this game. Like every time, and I feel like they're pushing each other because Bashal Tutin wants that running back one spot. But Travis Etienne is not ready to give it up. And every time you see Bashal Tutin make a good play, it's like Travis Etienne is like, okay, I'm going to one-up that. And then he does. And it's like a perfect... I'm like, I don't know how... I'm not ready to let Travis Etienne go. I'm not ready to say that Bashal Tutin should take over the backfield because to me, they're consistently pushing each other to do more and do better because they know that they're kind of gunning for each other's spots. But all of that to say, we've got some tough decisions to make in the offseason. Thank you so much for watching Always the Jags. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. Check out some of these other videos that I'm sure you'll be interested in as we chase Duval greatness. Thank you for joining us again, and until next time.